call to order at 6:32. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to open the floor for public comment. So as a reminder, please raise your hand if you're interested in providing public comment tonight, and Devin will allow you to unmute and speak at that point. Normal procedure as all other meetings previous. And I will go ahead and open the floor now. I don't see anything, you, Devin?
Nope, not seeing anything.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next order of business is minutes. So can I get a motion to approve the attached April 7th, 2021 minutes?
This is Wendy. I approve.
I'll second it. This is Sharon.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, unanimously approved. Next order of business is correspondence received. This is between the dates of 4/6/2021 and 4/21/2021. We have 3 pieces of correspondence that were included in your agenda packet. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to review those. And obviously responses will go back to the appropriate individuals. But please take the time to, these were some great questions and some comments as well. So please take the time to read through those. In addition, I do want to remind everybody that's listening with us tonight, either on the Zoom call or Facebook Live, that you are always welcome to communicate with the building committee via the comment form on the website. So please take advantage of that. If you don't want to speak at public comment, or you know, if you think of something after maybe one of our the many neighborhood meetings and community meetings and topic meetings, please use that form and ask questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can with complete and comprehensive answers to the best of our ability. So just a continued reminder on that. Next order of business is reports. This is a standard agenda item for us. So the very first item up is chair report. I just wanted to take an opportunity to spend just a few minutes tonight on some of the upcoming items that we are responsible for as a building committee. And this is really the timeline for the committee to get to referendum. So some additional steps and thoughts around this process, just to keep everybody aligned and aware of what we need to do to make sure we are well prepared for the potential of referendum. So just quickly to run through some of these dates and what's included. So April 26th, which is next Monday, we do have, we are planning to attend the town planning and zoning meeting. And it's required for us to do a schematic design submission for informal review and recommendation. Now, just to let everybody know, we have had 2 previous visits with TPZ and had questions and answers at those meetings. So they are well informed of the project and of the schematic design. So that is something, this is the final step in the process for us with TPZ. That's going to happen on April 26th. On May 3rd, it's Board of Education, and this is actually where we are going to ask the Board of Education for project approval at this meeting. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of this at the end of the meeting as well. But just important to know that that, again, is a requirement of the project, and we need to make sure we fulfill that obligation. On May 11th is Town Council meeting. Again, we are asking for project approval. And this is where the town meeting and the referendum date are set. So we've talked a lot about this date, May 11th, and that is when we are hopeful to get that official referendum date from town council and receive official project approval on the schematic design and the project as it's stated right now. Just as a quick reminder for everybody that after that May 11th date is when the referendum goes into warning status. So as soon as that referendum date is set by town council, the referendum goes officially into warning status, and then we enter that blackout period that we've talked about. So just a little bit of an explanation around what that means to us. So election laws prohibit municipalities from using taxpayer dollars to advocate for the approval of a referendum question. So this was the conversation we had our last meeting around restrictions around communications and really around spending specific to those communications. So just to keep that in mind, that's when that blackout period begins. May 24th is the scheduled town meeting. As of right now, it's tentative, actually. We need to wait for that May 11th meeting to actually have that officially set. But at that point, we would be reading the explanatory text that is associated to the referendum question and taking public comment at that time at the town meeting. And then June 3rd is what we hope to be the tentative referendum date. And again, that's subject to town council approval on 5/11. So although we talk a lot about communications and all these other pieces of information that we need in order to get us to that May 11th date and towards the referendum, there's these pieces of these kind of steps we need to follow as well to make sure that we're doing what we need to do appropriately by town statute and move through the process accordingly. So anybody have any questions on this? I don't think there's any surprises here. All things we've talked about, but just to keep everybody aware and thinking about upcoming events and important dates. All right, great. That's really all I had for chair report tonight. So as far as town council liaison report, I am going to defer that for tonight. And hopefully we'll be able to get an update from Chris at our next meeting. So I'm going to move right on to communications subcommittee report and ask Kat to give us a quick update, or actually a pretty extensive update. I shouldn't even say quick, a lot going on.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. The communications subcommittee met this morning. We reviewed some updates to the website, which our biggest one coming is a dedicated cost page. This will have the narrative around the cost information that we've included in the newsletter and on our presentations, but we're also including a lot of resources for people to find more information about how those numbers were derived. So it's access to the financial forecast. It's a video of the town's finance director presenting that financial forecast to town council at their February 16th meeting. That way there is context around what people are seeing in that financial forecast. We are also including all the backup information to those numbers in the financial forecast. So that includes all of the assumptions that are made. That includes bond schedules for 4 bond issues to equal that $110 million and all of the information associated with that. So that'll be a 1-page or the new page on the website, an information sheet, everything to know about the cost. We've also added a table. Now, every time we present the information, we go on the average assessed value, that $226,777. We are adding information so that people can see their impact. So it'll have the market value of the house. It'll have the assessed value of the house with information about where those numbers come from. We discussed that at length at the meeting today. And then their impact based on their home value and that assessed value. So I think that'll give people a way to relate it to them and see what their personal impact is rather than just hearing the assessed value. So we hope to get that all live on the website as soon as possible, especially because we have the cost topic Thursday coming up next Thursday, April 29th at noon. We also talked about including information about how the cost of the project came about, and that's with the independent estimator. We are getting a lot of questions about the cost of building materials, so we make sure we want to address that in our presentation as well. We also are going to be producing a final newsletter from the building committee, and we're hoping that will hit houses the first week of May, which is the week before that blackout period is triggered. Devin, if you're able to give Ira access to the computer, he will actually show everybody what that looks like and kind of walk through the thought behind that. Now, this is still in draft form, so we are going to be finalizing this before it is distributed. We hope to give him final approval by the end of the week.
Eric, you should be good to go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I know a lot of you were in the subcommittee meeting this morning on communication, so forgive me for repeating myself. And if I missed anything, just pipe in. This is the third, probably the most important mailer going out. We had a plan and a strategy which started in January, which was first of all, the first newsletter was to create awareness. So a survey went out, it came back, gave us a baseline for what people wanted to know and what their issues and concerns were. And so that came back. And then the second round, which is pretty much going on now, was actually more March and a little bit of April, was more about education. It's educating the community about what's going on, driving people to the website, presentations being done as we're doing right now, that'll be going on. And this is the final part, which is the engagement side, is that what are people actually going to understand when they're going to the voting booth, what they're going to actually understand and what they're voting for. This is what we call an info poster. The first two are newsletters. This one is all about the future. And it takes us on a quick tour on here. I know you might not see all this stuff, but it's going to be a 17 by 22 inch poster folded down to be an 8.5 by 11. And on the back side will be all photographs of kids K-12 and mailers and contact and also social media connections. And so if you look here, there's three components. One, which is very important, it came from the Board of Ed, which was, what is it all about? Why do we need a new building and what's going on for the future, which is basically preparing students for global citizens, to be global citizens. And then there's all the 6 major criteria around here, and then the major goals. And of course, the kids are in the center. So as you're walking around here, you have the main entrance. Again, these are images based on what the architectural firm has done to a similar project down in, I think it's Madison or Guilford. And it kind of walks you around about this with brief explanation about, what the experience is going to be like. And so what it is, so the design, these are kind of design concepts, but the focus is the kids. And on the bottom is why we're building a new high school, the tax impact, which Kat just went through, the timeline, and the estimated project cost. And in the middle, this is really the meat here. It's like, here's can be the site map. Again, this is going to be a lot larger than what you're seeing on the screen. Also how to contact and explaining to people here that this very quickly was approved as building a brand new building on the existing building site where the existing high school is. And then walking in, and as we go back to the center again. On the back side, which we're working on right now, we're going to have photographs of K-12 kids all the way through, and a mailer and the mailing address and the committee members and a hook to social media. So the idea of this one to open up is that, parents and community members and residents can open this up and take a tour, basically a paper tour, which is done, we already have a video that was done by Megan, which kind of talks about this. But again, in communication, there's 3 things here. We have to deal with social media. We have to deal with the internet itself and meetings and also paper. And so this, again, pulls the whole message together under one sheet. And it'll be going into homes, as Kat just said, by the end of next week, and it'll be in the homes the first week of May.
Thank you, Ira. So this was the newsletter presented to the subcommittee. They gave a little bit of feedback in terms of some copy and just some changing a few things. So we'll hope to finalize that and get that out soon. The only other updates from the subcommittee are just about our messaging that we've been going through, encouraging engagement at our neighborhood meetings, at our upcoming community meetings. We have the Topic Thursday meeting next week. So really just a lot of opportunities to learn more about the building project, and really sharing that information in any way possible, so that we can encourage participation and inform the residents. So if anybody else on the committee, the subcommittee, has anything else to add, please let me know if I missed anything.
Thanks, Kat. Anybody have any questions for Kat or Ira before we move on to the next report? All right, great. Thank you, Kat and Ira both. Next report out is Board of Education Liaison report. I don't know if there's anything you want to share.
Just real quickly, I can just say that all the members are participating in those community meetings and the Topic Thursday meetings and kind of saying their part and showing their support that way. And what we can to support the advocacy groups at this point. So we're part of that education and getting the word out.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Beth? Okay, we'll move on to financial report. Kat?
Thank you. Devin will pull it up on the screen in just a moment. Not too many changes in this report. Really, the only thing was under the expenses category. Sorry, I'll stall, Devin, while you get it up for everyone.
Sorry. Hold on.
Okay.
Here we go.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, before we're on the first page, and as you can see, our first purchase was our domain names. It has been 2 years since we purchased that. So the only addition to this is, you'll see it at the end on the second page here. I had to renew the registration. It's crazy to believe that it's been 2 years since we purchased that. But we have 3 domain names. Our main one, fhsbuildingproject.org, but we also own .com and .net. So I did renew all of those. And then we just have the Tall Timbers marketing invoice that is on the agenda today. Just in the column for amount billed to date, I added the $7,650 that's anticipated to be approved on today's agenda. So we have a total on hand of $133,278.80.
Great, thank you, Kat. Any questions on the financial report? Okay, we'll move on to state legislative update, and it looks like we're going to roll in industry update as well. So Chris or Mark?
Sure, yeah. So as we get closer to the referendum and then to the June 30th grant submission, we're going to begin to compile all of the documentation that's required for the actual grant submission itself. Many of which we have already completed. The ed specs, we need some minutes, we need the estimate broken out a particular way. So there's going to be some documentation that we're going to start to pull together now so that we have at our fingertips when the referendum passes to be able to upload to the state and submit our grant application. So that's really the biggest piece right now in terms of the state's process. Not really much of an update from the legislative body, but that's the direction we're going in right now.
Great, thank you, Chris. Any questions for Chris? And the deadline, Chris, just remind everybody the deadline for submission is?
It is June 30th. I believe it's 5 o'clock on June 30th, 5 or 7. I can't remember when the website actually shuts down, but I think it's 5.
All right, great. All right, if there are no other questions, we're going to move right on to new business. First order of business is to approve the attached invoice from Tall Timbers Marketing in the amount of $7,650. Devin, I think, can pull that up for us, but can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the invoice from Tall Timbers on the amount of $7,650.
Second, Johnny.
Okay. Any discussion? I'll give you a second to review just to be on the safe side. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, unanimously approved. I'm going to go ahead and combine items 2, 3, and 4 coming up. So can I get a motion to cancel the May 19th, June 2nd, and June 16th FHS Building Committee meetings?
Motion, Ellen.
Second, Sharon.
I'm going to open it up for discussion. And Kat, do you just want to give us a quick overview on this item?
Yes, absolutely. So the first 2 dates, May 19th and June 2nd, are within that blackout period. So we are canceling the meetings in between that. Just, there's really no reason for us to meet. We cannot advocate for the project. There's really no business for us to conduct. So we just are kind of on hold in anticipation of the referendum. And then the last date on there, June 16th, is the scheduled FHS graduation. So we did not want to conflict with that. So we lumped that in as well.
Any questions before we vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, unanimously approved. Next order of business is can I ask for a motion to refer the Farmington High School building project to the Board of Education and Town Council for approval?
This is Sharon. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay, this is Sharon. I'll make a motion that we refer the Farmington High School building project to the Board of Education and Town Council for approval.
I'll second.
All right, I'm opening it up for discussion, but just a quick note on this, as I referred to in the chair report with the timeline, the Farmington High School Building Committee approved the amended schematic design and project cost estimate on March 10th, 2021, according to Chapter 53 of the Town Code. The committee must submit the completed schematic drawings to the Town Council and Board of Education for approval. The approval is anticipated at the May 3rd, 2021 Board of Education meeting and the May 11th, 2021 Town Council meeting. According to Chapter 53, the committee will also submit the completed schematic drawings to the Town Planning and Zoning Commission for informal review and recommendation, and that meeting is scheduled for April 26, 2021. Any conversation or questions before we go to vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? All right, unanimously approved. And I don't want to miss the opportunity to say how significant that is. So please, we should just take a minute and understand what we're really moving forward on. This is exciting. And really was kind of the last step of the building project to move this forward for approval. So congratulations to the committee and to all the people that have helped us so far in this process. So sometimes these things it's very easy to say aye and move on, but I think it's also important to kind of reflect on really what that means and the level of work involved. So thank you to everybody. So before we adjourn, I think if we could do, what I'd like to do is just do a quick overview of some of our upcoming meetings, just as a reminder. Kat, do you have the schedule in front of you that for the upcoming meeting dates we can go through real quick?
Yep, just pulling it up now.
All right.
We have a Topic Thursday meeting tomorrow on building interior. That's at noon. On Friday, we have a presentation to the senior community at 1 o'clock. That one also has in-person viewing available, and you can sign up for that by contacting the community or senior center. And masks and social distancing is required for that. On Tuesday, the 27th, we have a community presentation. We are also offering in-person viewing for that meeting. The West District neighborhood presentation is next Wednesday, the 28th, and we are also having in-person viewing for that as well. And then Topic Thursday on the 29th is project cost. So that's going to be a good one at noon. All of these meetings again on Zoom with the option. Oh, thank you, Devin, for pulling that up. With an option for in-person viewing. And then really our last community presentation that we have is May 4th on Zoom as well, and in-person viewing available. So the last really 2 weeks of a push for our engagement, our community outreach. So a lot of hard work has been put into this, and I know Meg and all of the building committee members have done a tremendous job presenting this and really helping educate the residents.
And just as a reminder there, so what Devin has up on the screen there was a part of our last newsletter. So this should be in every household. So that is certainly a resource for people on upcoming meetings, just to kind of keep track and know what's coming up. But there's also events posted on Facebook page. There's plenty of information that's shared on all our socials. So please, you can certainly track it there as well. We have a calendar on the website, fhsbuildingproject.org, that you can go, that is accurate and up to date as to time and date. And I believe the Zoom links are also included there as well, right, Devin, right on the calendar. So there's lots of places. Sometimes I know when I'm doing my calendar, I'm like, I don't have this piece of paper in front of me, but there's plenty of places to be able to find this information, as well as I do want to remind people too that we have that resource page as well on the website. So please feel free. We know schedules are tight. There's a lot going on. We're getting close to the end of the school year as well. So there's a lot of activity. If you missed one, it's okay. We'd love to have you there, because the interaction of being able to get questions directly from people is great. But if you can't make it, the resource page has all our meetings posted with the resources shared, and Devin can pull it up for you here, as well as meetings, the recordings of every meeting. So really a great opportunity, whether it's a neighborhood meeting, whether it's specific to topics. So right there, you could go and actually watch the project timeline, meeting video, and the presentation that was included with it. So lots of opportunities to stay engaged and learn and find out more about the project. So we just want to make sure people take advantage of that moving forward. And I don't want people to feel if you miss something live that you can't go back to it and see it. It's one of the advantages of the Zoom world we live in. So please take advantage of that too as well. And kind of an ending note, I also want to thank all the building committee members for their participation. This has been a lot of coordination, a lot of scheduling, a lot of scripts and specific presentations and things to really think about, and personal statements, and people really putting their heart and soul into these presentations to making sure we're keeping the community informed. So building committee members, I thank you. I thank the Board of Ed representatives, the town council representatives, everybody who's, and community members that have stepped up and made personal statements as well. All that is so critical to what we're doing. And, I personally can't thank you enough. And I think the community would say the same, that it's really important to hear all these voices and delivering a strong message and really providing factual and solid information on this project and the benefit it will bring to our community. So thank you again. Want to give one last opportunity for any questions or comments before we move to adjournment. Okay, great. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
This is Wendy. Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it, Sharon.
Any discussion? All right, excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. We will adjourn at 7:01 this evening.
Thank you, Meg.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Great.